Hello, hello. So in today's lesson, we will talk about waltzes by Chopin. And Chopin is a waltz king. So I had this book for a very long time. I'm like so used to looking at this image of people waltzing with like outdoor chandeliers. It's whack. But I also have a lot of colorful notes in this waltz, in this book. So I've definitely played a lot of waltzes, but I also really enjoy them. So today I want to introduce you to Chopin's Grand Waltz Brillante, Opus 18. Some of the core elements of a waltz. We want to make it sound like a dance. So we want to have a very flowy melody. We all know that Chopin's very lyrical, romantic, but mainly I think the thing that people usually miss, like beginner pianists usually forget, is the rhythm, the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So today we will talk about that. Some other things that we will talk about are the ornaments. You don't hear too many of these in Mozart, but we definitely do in Chopin. I also want to mention how the tone and the changes in color are especially important in Chopin, and we will definitely talk about that as well. So let's get started and let's see if I can play this without any mistakes. So essentially you have this like very upbeat rhythm, and you have, we hear this this E flat major, but we also have the a little tension. And then resolvation. So you realize the whole phrase is not just 1, 2, 3 and then stop and then another 1, 2, 3. It goes on for 2 lines. And what I wanted to talk about the 1, 2, 3 is that it's not 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I feel like that is the biggest issue with making a waltz sound good. You want to hear 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. You always want to anticipate the 1. And so you even see in the red the slurs that are in red that create the 2, 3, 1. So think about it as 2, 3, 1 instead of 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And then this will make your melody line sound much more enjoyable. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, I messed up on that last one, but it's okay. We have, as long as you remember the 2, 3, 1, that is very important, and that will definitely boost up how your waltz sounds. We also have some other elements to waltzes. The left hand for this waltz is, so you hear it's like a very fundamental bass. But then you also have the, and then you continue on and on. But essentially these two things, it's like boom, cha, cha, boom. So your bass definitely wants to like have a little more sense of groundedness, and then this is like a fleeting type of sound. So you definitely don't want to put heavy accents on here. You just hear the difference. Or, so definitely just don't put the accent, just to make it sound better. I feel like even though there are these slurs that I mentioned for the 2, 3, 1, those should just be ideas to make your rhythm sound a little nicer. But you want to hear the whole melody, so you still want to create a line throughout the whole 2 lines of one phrase. And this kind of sounds like a question, so you're kind of leading to the question. You don't want to make it choppy, as in the conversation that I was talking about earlier in the other lesson. You definitely want to hear the lead up. And then here you have like a, okay, I get it, like there was tension, we're fine, we're all good now, and then we get back to E flat major, the basic chord, the main chord, the main keys, sorry. And then when you hear another repeat, you definitely never want to play it in the same way. So he also makes it eighth notes in this area, so you definitely want to make more of a different dynamic or feeling, or like it's like as if you were saying something to someone 2 times. You don't want to say it in the same way twice. You definitely want to have some variation or some type of interesting detail that you want to add to the conversation to make it nicer. That is all I wanted to show you about this piece. Also, note that I also play this in my Tom and Jerry video, so if you want to go see that, you might as well try to identify it. Another one of my favorite pieces that are waltzes is this one, which is wow, I really like this piece. Anyway, this piece is also showing how the line develops from here to there. It definitely is something that you want to realize. It's a whole conversation of, and then you definitely want to think about how you can make the phrase nicer by creating a color tone. Because right here, it's just your right hand. And this is the color change that you definitely want to identify with. I think that when you realize these changes in the colors and tones, it definitely makes your music sound much better. I was going to also talk about long lyrical lines. So for example, you have here. Sorry, I didn't practice. But like you hear, it sounds really long. You definitely want to like elongate the piece and the phrase itself in order to create a conversation instead of, sounds very choppy. You also want to think about legato too. Excuse me, I don't know what's happening. But I definitely want to mention how you have these little ornaments as well. I had trouble playing that earlier if you noticed, but these little things are what makes Chopin's waltzes cute. So if you're having trouble figuring out how to practice these trills and little ornaments, just work on this one measure itself, just until you feel like you're ready. And try to practice it like 20 times just with your right hand, and then add your left hand in later. And that's usually how I practice. Like you just play a measure again and again, again and again, because there's no other way that you can't really skip that process of practicing. I also feel like you can add, if you want to bring it to the next level, you can make the tone a lot nicer. Just a little bit of dynamic and like a little bit of, you feel like the waves of the notes. You don't want to hear the notes just by itself. You want to hear them all as one entity. definitely get the notes right first before you try any of this. That is the fundamental part. But that is how you play a Chopin waltz. And if you have any questions or comments, please let me know, because I would love your feedback. Thank you.